Welcome to C.2 Lesson 8. My name is Dan DC, and I'm a science educator who uses OpenSciEd in my classroom, and I'm excited to share some key insights and some tips and tricks to help you make this lesson a great experience for you and your students. Lesson 8 serves as a bridge between our abstract mathematical model and the physical reality of lightning. We're going to break the model that students just built in Lesson 7 to help them figure out how neutral objects can interact with charged ones. So let's begin by grounding ourselves in where our students' heads are as they walk into the door after they have just completed Lesson 7, which is when they successfully derived Coulomb's law. We have a clean mathematical model stating that force depends on the amount of charge. Students are confident that if an object is neutral, meaning its charge is zero, then its electrostatic force must also be zero. In this lesson, we are wondering why our mathematical model predicts zero force for neutral objects, yet we know lightning strikes the neutral ground, and we see balloons stick to neutral walls. Let's take a look at the roadmap for this lesson, which is a single day investigation that moves kind of quickly. You'll need about 25 minutes of prep time to inflate the balloons and get the paper scraps ready. It is hands-on, but it also requires student devices for them to access the PhET simulation, and there are no additional videos for them to watch. We have one single sense-making loop today, and we start by observing that impossible interaction between a charged balloon and neutral paper. From there, we move to a computer simulation to visualize the charges, and then we refine that model using paper clips to figure out that electrons can shift within an atom, but not actually leave that atom. We call this polarization, and we end by realizing this mechanism allows for attraction without contact, which is key to explaining lightning. We figured out that electrons in an atom are not rigid. They can be temporarily polarized. I really emphasize the definition here. A partial charge is induced simply by electrons moving to one side of an atom. It is crucial to reinforce the second point, that electrons are not transferred. They aren't jumping ship like they do in a conductor. They are just shifting within their boundaries. And finally, we connect this back to our driving question. This internal shifting mechanism allows interaction to happen over a distance, proving that contact is not required for a force to exist. Let's look at the three specific moments where the instructional lift is the heaviest. Part 2 is the moment we highlight the contradiction in our model. We anchor ourselves in the equation we just derived. Force equals K times Q1 times Q2 divided by the distance squared. We focus specifically on the wall's charge, which we will represent as Q2. We remind ourselves that neutral means a charge of zero, and that mathematically, if you multiply any value, no matter how large the balloon's charge is, by zero, the result is zero. The equation predicts there should be no force at all. So when we see the balloon stick to the wall, we realize the math isn't wrong, but our assumption that we can treat the wall as just a 0 point is too simple. This contradiction forces us to zoom in. We realize that we need a particle level explanation for how neutral objects can participate in electrostatic interactions. To help discover that mechanism behind what they are observing, we use the PhET balloon and static electricity simulation to visualize the invisible. A critical instructional move here is to ensure students start with the setting of the sim to show no charges. I ask them to draw what they think is happening inside the wall first. When we finally toggle to show all charges, we see that the wall remains neutral overall, but the electrons are repelled away from the surface. This gives us our first evidence that charge can move inside an object without leaving it. In part 4, we realize the simulation has a flaw. It makes it look like electrons can flow freely through the wall, like they would in a metal wire. To correct this, we use the paperclip model. We have students attach paper clips or electrons to an index card, which is our atom. I emphasize that the clip can slide to one side of the card, but it cannot fall off or jump to another card. This physical constraint helps us figure out that an insulator, electrons only shift within the atom. This localized shift is what we define as polarization. So we leave this lesson knowing that the ground doesn't need to be charged to be struck by lightning. It just needs to be polarized. We are left wondering how a storm cloud polarizes the Earth beneath it on such a massive scale. This question sets up perfectly to apply our new paperclip model to the lightning system in Lesson 9. Here are a few practical tips and some organizational strategies to help this investigation run smoothly. First, I strongly advise testing the PhET simulation on student devices before class to ensure that it loads properly. If for some reason it does not work on their devices, you could also just project it for the class too. As I mentioned earlier, familiarize yourself with the differences between the show no charges and show all charges setting. I always enforce the show no charges start to protect that moment of prediction and give the students opportunity to come up with explanation without seeing the answer. I actually like projecting this simulation on the board with the show no charges part selected so we can see the phenomenon together. Have them develop what they think the mechanism is, and then have them run the simulation on their devices to see if their predicted mechanism was accurate. It's very tempting to pre-teach the word polarization, but I hold off. I let students struggle with describing the shifting or leaning of electrons using their paper clips first. We want them to construct the concept of the partial charge before we give them that label. Only in part 5, once they have explained the mechanism, do I introduce the scientific terms of polarization and partial charge to name what they have already figured out. Static electricity struggles in high humidity. If it is a rainy or humid day, the balloon simply might not stick. I try to dehumidify the room if possible, or I just make sure I have a backup video ready to go so the lesson doesn't stall. Also, check your roster for latex allergies. If you have students with allergies, use non-latex tubing options or perform the balloon segment as a demo that you record outside of the classroom. We're adding 3 major terms to our glossary today: partial charge, polarization, and induced polarization. We co-construct these definitions based on the paperclip model, ensuring students understand that induced means that it was forced to happen by a nearby charged object without contact. We are updating our matter energy forces poster with our new findings about forces at a distance. Consider having students keep their index card and paperclip models intact to use in Lesson 9. They can keep them, or if your students are almost like every other teenager, you may want to collect them. I usually use a shoebox ready to collect them because we will use these exact models again in Lesson 11 to explain air ionization. Thank you for taking the time to better learn about Lesson 8. In Lesson 9, we will take these micro scale findings and put the pieces together to explain a macro scale lightning system. Thank you and good luck.